Hello, my name is Fernando Colchero and I am an Associate Professor in Statistics at the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science here at SDU. The purpose of this video is to explore with you what is the role of mathematics and mathematicians in particular to further the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The UN Sustainable Development Goals were born at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. The aim of this initiative was to replace what used to be known as the Millennium Development Goals, which started as a global effort launched in 2000 to end poverty. The aim of the UN Sustainable Development Goals was not only to tackle poverty, but to also address some of the most urgent environmental, political, and economical challenges that the world was facing. As the latest report of the Sustainable Development Goals states, the initiative was launched to end poverty and set the world in a path of peace, prosperity, and opportunity for all on a healthy planet. However, today we know that we're facing an unprecedented crisis in the form of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has not only affected the governments and institutions' capacity to report for the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but also the progress on each one of the goals. However, we can all contribute to overcome this crisis. And in that sense, mathematics and mathematicians can play a fundamental role. You might be asking yourselves, what can mathematicians do? To answer this question, let's explore several aspects of mathematical applications and how they are directly related to each one of the goals. For example, statistics and its applied branches have been crucial to understand what are the factors that determine the conditions in which we live today. For instance, what are the determinants of income inequality around the world and poverty? What are the factors that determine a species going extinct? Or what are the drivers of the current climate crisis? The basic building blocks are essentially mathematics. For example, scholars have long been interested in developing measures that allow them to understand social inequality and income inequality within countries and between countries. Some of the most widely used measures are based on measuring probability theory, such as the Gini index. Another important branch of mathematics on temporal stochastic processes relates to modeling demography, population dynamics, and epidemiological processes. As you can imagine, this branch is fundamental not only to understand human population dynamics, but also the dynamics of populations of other species, such as species of commercial interest, like fisheries or crops, or even species of conservation concern. For example, in the context of the current COVID crisis, by means of the use of systems of differential equations, such as the susceptible, infected, recover, susceptible models, mathematics have been crucial to understand and predict what will be the impact of a virus that was unknown to humankind until now. Another crucial application of mathematics has to do with modeling spatio-temporal processes, such as the occurrence of species in space and time, urban planning, or climate change. In order to predict the impact of climate change, scientists have relied on what is known as general circulation models, which are four-dimensional models using discrete fluid motion equations in space and time. The report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change relied heavily on the outcomes of these models in order to produce predictions of climate change. Another branch of the applications of mathematics to the UN Sustainable Development Goals is tightly related to engineering and technological innovation. Any technological advance today requires a deep understanding of mathematics. And last but not least is the mathematical education. To successfully achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals, we need the most qualified mathematical professions we can produce. Here we will explore how your mathematical education at SDU will give you invaluable tools to be uniquely positioned to contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. For instance, the first courses that you are taking now, as a mathematician or an applied mathematician, such as calculus, linear algebra, introduction to mathematical methods, mathematical and numerical analysis, and algebra 1, are fundamental to be able to implement any of the areas of expertise for the UN Sustainable Development Goals. For those interested on statistics and its applications, such as econometrics, Courses such as measure and integration theory, probability theory, combinatorial mathematics, convex analysis, or topology and complex analysis will give you some of the most advanced knowledge that you require to become a statistician. For those interested on temporal stochastic processes related to demography and population and epidemiological modeling, courses such as differential equations 2, partial differential equations, and ordinary differential equations, coupled with knowledge in statistics, will give you extraordinary tools to model these processes. To model spatiotemporal processes, such as those related to climate change, urban planning, or occurrence of species, a good knowledge on statistics coupled with courses on differential equations, curves and surfaces, or topology and complex analysis will give you an extraordinary competitive edge. And for those inclined on technological innovations and engineering, algebra, advanced linear algebra, curves and surfaces, and topology and complex analysis will be fundamental. But of course, up to now, we have been talking about applications of mathematics. And those that are inclined towards pure mathematics or theoretical mathematics might ask themselves, what can be my role? And here the argument is very simple. Without a solid theoretical foundation, applied mathematics can simply not be. And therefore, irrespective of where you fall on the theoretical to applied continuum of mathematics, you all have a role to play.